everybody see in the user experience.
Oh, awesome. Hey, did you catch the eye tracker this weekend? For,
No, I have not. I heard it's actually went well.
yeah, I was going to see if you what your thoughts were on it because John, what'd you think? I thought it was pretty cool.
It was really good, and they're actually going to put together kind of like a post-event synopsis, or actually it's going to have every game is going to be shown, and it'll show you side by side each of the the charts and things. I think they're going to run some statistics on some things. It was really interesting because all three of the people there from I believe it's Merametrics, I believe that's how you say it. They all had a different theory on how the statistics would be compared to each other. One thought that as you get better, you look at the mini map less. Another one thought as you get better, you look at it more. So this was one of those things where it had an opportunity to kind of compare. I thought it was really
I mean there was this concept of fixation. When your eyes get fixated on something, that's kind of when your eyes are moving, that's kind of when you're intaking a lot more information. And then they had this stat that was fixation, which it was pretty cool stats, and it just reminded me, obviously you're talking about mining data, and that's just like an additional peripheral kind of data that was pretty entertaining and innovative too. So
absolutely,
cool
would love to catch up on that, and then definitely putting like an eye tracking type device would definitely help get you additional data for the athlete.
Yeah, and it was easy to implement too. I mean, I think they used just 3 little cams that sit right in
it's
in
not
front
even
of
3.
the keyboard.
It's just like a bar, a camera. It's got 3 little cameras inside of it. Takes 10 seconds to calibrate the screen, and it sits in the background and runs. It was really cool.
Yeah.
We got to definitely look into it.
Yeah,
that's room for improvement for IPL6 for sure.
There you go, man.
So it's going to be very exciting for us. And in the games themselves, really, we look at ourselves as a platform to support the players, and I think we have some of the top players there. We're going to do something special for him for winning so many fight clubs.
Oh goodness, amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing what he has accomplished. Yeah, so it's going to be a very action-packed event.
So casting-wise, I know you have the contest going, which we'll talk about in a second. But who are the set casters right now?
I can't recall. I think it's announced on a community thread. But some of the old names, Kevin Naki. There's a new person we just added, Kibbles. I hope that everybody likes him.
Yep.
And we have
not everyone's gonna like him, David.
No, he's good.
Exactly. That's true. Everybody will have their opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we also added quite a few, like Total Biscuit, the Apollo. Of course, for the GSL portion, we have Tastosis there. So yeah, a lot of casters. I'm gonna miss a bunch of people. On the LOL side, we have the usual Riot casters. We have our in-house casters. We also just added Golden Boy, to basically help us cast our first-person shooter with Shoot Mania. He's really, really good. So we're adding up our talent pool. It's really, for me, it's just, again, the stage is not big enough to fit all the talent. So I know MoleTrap is, always asked. We just, we don't have enough seat. But over time, we definitely want to scale to that point where we can get a lot of people. And on the community side, I'm really happy. We should just jump right into it. One of the visions we had was to basically, set, the community to be at parity, right? So where, anybody who has a talent and with the passion and the drive to make it an esports world would make it a reality for them. And this is why we have caster contests, so anybody can apply and come in. Of course, our are limited to U.S. only, so damn them. Frank Silva, if you're listening, I know you're not. Damn you. That's kidding. But then going back to this, going back to the ideal, right? We want to create jobs, and we really want to, help out the everyday Joes instead of the guys who really have made it on YouTube as well as Twitch. We wanted to have new personality, new blood injected to the system at all times, which basically will keep the scene evergreen and alive. So that's why we run so many qualifiers for the players. So basically trying to eliminate some of the cost, and then also for them to participate in our event. And we also do that for the casters as well, so that fresh blood can come into the scene and make it in the scene. So yeah, so we're trying really hard to make that happen. So I think 4 casters are going to cast on the main stage from the community pool and basically get the prime spotlight, just like some of the naming casters. So we hope that we're going to find some surprises there that everybody really likes, and then we're going to offer that person a job.
Yeah, I mean, I think the casting contest has been received really well in the community, and lots of folks have been, I know lots of folks have been submitting their applications, so that's really cool.
We've actually had like a few guys from our contingent actually make it, I think, pretty far in that contest. But one of them, Promise, who's originally, I guess, first speaking Arabic language, and I wanted to ask you, David, do you guys have any plans in the future to cast multi-stream in Arabic or in Chinese or in Korean?
Yeah. So it's already going to happen for Chinese. We don't have the technology yet to basically do audio overlay over the same stream, so you can go in and select the language and be able to jump the stream. So it'll be a stream. But our partner in China, Mars TV, is going to cast some of our games in Chinese. Same with GOM, right? They're going to cast it in Korean. So including the IPL StarCraft 2 stream, it will basically be in Korean as well. In addition, I think we are talking to certain groups. Basically, there may be Russian and French in the future. It's hard for us to track them all. Just make our platform as open as possible so people basically can come in and help us translate for profit.
Do you think that there's actually a vacuum of, because I was talking with Promise the other day about this, and I was like, really, you speak Arabic, that's really cool. Why do you think people in the Middle East aren't watching as much esports or StarCraft? I mean, is it like, is there no viewership there, or?
I think people don't play the game. Actually, I investigated over there because we're actually looking and possibly doing something in Europe or Middle East in 10 years from now or whatever else. I like to learn all the time. So we're talking to somebody from Dubai. They basically told me that it is console focused, so a lot of console action. But then on the PC titles, people just don't have the gears to basically compete at the high level. So they only have 2 grandmasters in StarCraft, I think, in that region. So it's a very small, a drop in the bucket in the global scene.
Wow, that's really cool, though. I mean, yeah, I was like, man, you should be, casting in Arabic, casting games in Arabic. I wonder, like what your YouTube video views would be if you did that or whatever. We were kind of talking about it a little bit, and we have another caster, I guess, Crota. I think Crota speaks Chinese too as well. So it's kind of like, I'm just curious to know. There's this different group of community casters. If you've been asking them about those other languages that they speak as well for casting purposes.
Not for IPL. We're going to focus on English, but our model is to basically enable other people to do it for profit. So, honestly, from a finance perspective, we're not even taking a rev share for now. We really just want to basically allow people to help translate our stream and make their money that they're supposed to, in our different stream. Yeah, so again, it's a very community-based way to solve that problem and make the experience better. Our technology, unfortunately, will not allow them to cast on our current stream and allow people to toggle language, but that's something we look at for the future. It's something that's hard.
Right. All right, so why don't we take some questions from the viewers? You guys cool with that?
Sure.
All right. For those of you watching, if you want to call in your question, go ahead and add me on Skype. My Skype ID is ChanmanV, and I'll pull you into the call. But if you don't have Skype, then you can go ahead and type in your questions in the stream chat, and we'll just go ahead and read them out. Let's see. Anything here? Okay. So, David, who do you think is going to win the WCS this weekend? I know you're a StarCraft guy, so.
I don't know. There's a lot of good players there, so I'm just going to watch in and just pretend I don't know what what's going to happen.
Good answer.
So I don't want to tip my hand on that one.
No problem. All right, James is going to call in here. Gonna have to fix these screens. James, you there? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, great. Hey, welcome to Climbing the Ladder.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. I sort of had a question to throw at Mr. Ting. Basically, you've talked about casters and sort of getting community guys involved. And I'm just wondering, what do you look for in community casters, particularly when guys are, relatively fresh? Mark was talking about Jorasar's just kind of sprung up recently, but he's been going for ages. and it's only just now that he's kind of really broken through on the scene. So is it important for casters to sort of be part of an organization, or if they're doing their own thing, is that cool? Like, what are you really looking for up-and-coming casters?
So for us, it's really all statistics driven, right? So we basically look at the popularity of their stream. So that's why we posted their cast on YouTube for people to vote on it on the comment section, as well as on Facebook. So really, the stats drive it all, right? So over time, that's the fairest way for us to really, pick out the guys who are the most popular.
So, I mean, like, what kind of numbers do you need? Is it a relative thing depending on the community?
Yeah, exactly. Just use statistics, right? So you have basically your sample group. So, in the spirit of March Madness, we actually had 64 applicants who qualify based on our filtering criteria, which is you live in the States, and then you cast and then post a video, right? So some people post an application without uploading a YouTube video. So things like those, elimination based on, incomplete application, right? So everything else is basically our guys actually listen to it. So we had basically, these 64, round of 64 basically filtered to round of 16 based on our internal viewing audience. So we had basically, it's not scientific, we had a viewing session. So I jumped in to listen to two or three of the casts, and we picked and scored each one in the stream. So we picked out and filtered down to 16, and then the rest is up to community voting, including their performance at the IPL tournament. So, people viewing and voting basically going to determine their fate. Also, just to tell you another thing is that we innovated on is our HR department actually is coming to IPL. So they are helping us doing background check. Also helped man our booth for merchandising. But, if somebody is selected, they basically are going to do the process, do the face-to-face screening, at the event. So, so we're going to waste no time to really, put this person to work immediately.
Hire him right on the spot.
On the spot, yeah,
Awesome.
exactly.
That's great.
And it's based on stream numbers, right? So it's and James, one of the things I like to do is basically use tangible data to discern who's better. And then this is where, viewer views count and votes count.
The stream numbers, that's tough though, right? I mean, it's not a fair stat.
Yeah, but then it's votes, like the number of interaction, number of likes, things like those. We basically could use that as a whole to basically make a judgmental call based on all that collected data.
Do you think there's an advantage? Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, well, the thing is with the stream numbers being used is like, okay, well, if, someone gets to cast, a round of six, I don't know who all the players are, but, if Crota gets, the best players to cast, then he's going to get more stream viewers based on the players. It's not going to have anything to do with him as a caster.
Yeah, but then it's all about the positivity of the feedback, right? So not only there's a quality of that, the quantity of stream, there's also, like, we look at the stream feedback as well as our Facebook and Twitter, so when we see, like, a lot of people positively react, Reddit, TL, we monitor those threads and see who has the most positive sentiment, right? So again, it's just a very, quick way to scientifically filter this out. So I think most leagues actually jump on and say, hey, who is the most well-known? So this is where, Tastosis always wins the bet, right? Because they're the first and they're the best. But then for us, we really just try to use, statistics to basically level the playing field and give people a chance.
I just want to know. I just want to know, like, what's the number one organization that you see? I'm just kidding. This is a loaded question. We have 3 in the final 8, so I'm feeling pretty good.
No, come on.
Number one organization. Can you give me I don't get the question. Sorry.
It was a joke. It was a joke, David. We have 3 Quantic casters in the top 8, so I was like, what's the number one organization sending you guys these talented casters?
I got it.
It's a joke. I was joking you. Sorry.
That's awesome.
This type of programming, this is great for the community. I'm sure the community really, really appreciates this. And, lots of casters like Mark's 3 casters, they all they want is a chance, right? And whenever a big organization like IPL gives you a chance, that doesn't happen very often. So it's greatly appreciated, I'm sure.
Is there any advantage in casters sort of like to get those stream numbers to kind of band together and create like their own kind of mini networks that are out there? I mean, I see this in a couple of different communities, or is it really up to the individual themselves?
Well, it's up to the individuals themselves,
yeah.
right? So, yeah, also, like me, just give you a caveat. There's a possibility, like, this is remote. I'm not putting anybody down. Like, if none of them passes our HR's background check, we cannot even hire them, right? So there's a caveat there that we cannot even hire all of the people we bring in. But the key here is that they're going to be casting on the main stage for IPL, and and everything works out with our HR process, our hiring on-ramp process. Then we're going to basically bring them on as a full-time employee. But then the key here is that it actually brings them into the spotlight, right? So how many people in the mainstream basically gives people like this a chance? Somebody who has no previous casting experience is basically going to be put almost as par, but I'm not saying quote unquote at par with some of the best out there, and then let the audience basically give them a critique, and then so they can improve their art. Even if they don't get selected, they get to learn from that experience.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, James, thanks for your question, bud.
Thanks for having me. See ya.
Yeah, no problem. All right, Kurt wants to call in. Mr. Key Hunt.
Nice.
Kurt's our regular caller, David. If you
I know.
and Noah too. If you didn't know, he's our.
He's a mod in the chat apparently. So there you go.
I used to bug David quite a lot on the losers bracket. How you doing, David?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, hey, doing great.
Good. Hey, MoleTrap, how are you, buddy?
Doing fine, thanks.
I do have a question for David, and this is kind of a loaded question, so as usual from me.
Okay, no problem.
But we hear a lot of great news out of Riot. They're going to be supporting even more into esports and putting even more money into esports in Season 3. But we also hear some confusing things in relations to how these quote-unquote pro Riot teams are going to be competing with the MLG, with IPL, stuff like that. Yep. Does that bother you, or are we going to? Does it bother you that, like, potentially out of the 16 teams you have for IPL 4, that 12 of them are going to be Riot sponsored teams next season and won't be able to play in your main events? Or has IPL talked with Riot, tried to work it out? Just give us a little info on that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're working with Riot. They're a great team, and they have currently a set vision on how to execute. But I know also they learn from the field too, right? So this is where if they feel like, hey, this is not supported by the community, I believe that they're going to pivot as well. So I'm not very keen on the tournament structure. Just to cut to the chase on this discussion. I think we believe as part of the IPL to basically make it global, remove the barrier to entry for everybody to join our tournament. But, Season 3 is going to be fairly restrictive for IPL. But we still want to continue with Riot because the key here is that I think the community is amazing. And I also believe in the Riot team being able to look at the data on what they do. And a lot of the times people basically look at a decision and say that, gosh, this is final. And that's not my belief. My belief is that people basically look at the data points collected. So if view numbers really drop, this is where, IPL would look for a different partner. And then, we would like to give Riot a chance because they've been a fantastic partner all the way up to this point. And, I hope that their plan works.
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing. I think I just hope I like what Riot is doing in the sense. I'd like the idea, and as long as it works out well for them, and they continue to put money in, that's great. But I just hope it doesn't hurt people like you guys and MLG.
Yeah. What if they start running things, and then they say to you guys, "Well, we're going to run our own events. We'd prefer that you not run yours."
Well, I don't see them doing that either way, John. I don't know. I don't see them going, "Hey, you can't run our events." But as well as I do, they might close their wallet to some of those events.
We also don't necessarily. We don't know whether the IPL and MLG events are going to be point collecting events either, though.
Yeah. So So we are working toward basically making it so that it's a point collecting event. But definitely the structure is very restricted. So the details still being ironed out, but not very keen on the structure. So that's definitely something that I spoke to Riot about. But again, like I said, they could prove me wrong, and this is where they have been very successful. In this year, I would give them a chance because they are a very good group of people to work with. So, I always believe more in the people than just in the structure itself.
Real quick, I've heard a couple different things now. So, what is the official status on that? As far as are they not going to allow the season 3 teams to participate in other events, or I was under the impression that the season 3 teams were not necessarily going to be restricted from doing other events. What is that situation after all?
That situation is still unclear. So really, I think the Riot team, has a plan, and they went around everybody to collect everybody's opinion. They're also working on the 2013 agreement. So we know we're going to do something together with Riot as part of 2013, but there's a lot of detail that's yet to be ironed out.
Yeah, we're in the same boat.
Again,
the same contracts. It's
yeah. So again,
state or whatever. So we're just all waiting.
Yep. So again, they may change things like if the first 3 months doesn't look good, they may actually change the rule set, right? So that's not factored into a lot of these community discussions. So I think we just have to give them very patient. We just have to give them time to really iron everything out. I think that team has done a great job in season 2. They're getting a deserved rest, and when they come back, I'm sure they're going to figure everything out with the players as well as the tournaments to come up with a system that people will work with, right? So again, the view number is going to determine if they're successful or not, right? So if from our standpoint, I can speak on behalf of IPL, if the view numbers don't look good within their structure, then we will spend the additional resources to bring on another mobile title, right? So this is something I don't want to do because it creates confusion on our side, because I think it's silly to have multiple mobile title, until you have good, genre coverage. I don't want to do that. But if the views decline too much, that's something I'm forced to do.
Well, good luck with all that, David. But I do. Last question here: is Beast Crew coming back for IPL 5?
Who's coming back?
Beast Crew.
Beast Crew, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beast Crew,
good.
yes. Okay.
Right. Just making sure.
All right.
Okay,
great.
good stuff.
All right. See if we can get maybe one or maybe two, but definitely one here. Justin Kim is up. Oh, Justin hung up on us. Let's see if we can call him one more time. Oh, I guess his call is failing, so we'll get Nora in here. All right, one of the...
Nice.
So Promise is one of the, I think, casters up for,
Yep.
for the contest here, so let's see if he has a question. Oh, nobody's answering. What's going on, guys? Uh-oh.
Hey, what's up? What's up,
There he
Chanman?
is. Hey, what's
you
up,
guys hear
Nora?
me?
Yep.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Absolutely.
You got a question, buddy?
I do. First of all, just a big shout out to David Ting for coming on the show. Providing casters, community casters to be specific, for getting an opportunity to possibly get a job with IGN. So my first question is going to be, in this caster search, now it's narrowed down to the top 8. Do you think having a presence in the local, being a Bay Area person that lives literally something like 15 to 20 minutes away from the headquarters, has some sort of significance?
Oh, geez, that's a
good
question.
I want.
Let me just say that I'm going to give you a non-answer, so I apologize for doing that. My team is actually running that process closely. I think you should talk to Kevin Naki on that one. I do think that you being in the Bay Area is definitely helpful. But at the end of the day, I think that if I remember right, and I have very bad memory, I think you're actually one of the front runners too. So again.
Oh man, this guy's willing to do the work, dude. This guy's willing to do the work. He calls me like every week. He's like, hey man, I want this so bad.
We're gonna have all these caster lobbyists now.
I know you're
Come
gonna
on
have
the
like
show,
all the
man.
casters call in right now and just.
I know. And besides that, Ian Shikino and Croto are gonna be like, why did you say that?
Yeah, and then honestly, I think you guys are the first set of candidates that we're going through with this brand new process. So we really appreciate your patience too, because it's a crazy idea I had, and Kevin's doing a fantastic job with Frank Fields to roll it out, and then let us know. Like if there's certain things that we could do better as well, because I know we're holding it very suspenseful for you. So I hope to see you at the event. Again, reach out to Kevin Naki. Those guys will be very responsive. I think you guys did a fantastic job as part of the first crop of casters to really give us a really great showing. So I'm very optimistic that some of the what's called quote unquote secondary stream usually don't get a lot of attention, but I hope that we could rally the community to really pay a lot of attention to what you guys are doing, and also give you a chance to really showcase your skills so that you get major airtime on the main stage as well.
Absolutely, and just whatever happens, top 4, whatever ends up being the choice of IPL, just let me know. I'm down to come down and just talk to the staff. I'm literally like 20 minutes away, but ultimately, I completely agree with you. It's going to come down to Kevin Naki and Frank Fields, and I'll definitely keep in touch with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
Thanks a lot,
this
Dave.
is where, I'll tell you, that's my part of as a manager. I delegate the responsibility with the occasional...
Without the bias, of course.
Exactly. But if I threw my bias in, I could tilt the balance a lot of ways, so I don't want to do do that.
Okay. Yeah. Chanman, don't take Robin's call, by the way. He can just
don't take Robin's call,
That's good.
Man.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Because let's face it, David, you never throw your weight into anything to adjust the outcome, do you? Never.
Yeah. Never.
That's never happened.
Never.
I love you, David. I love you.
All right, fellas. I think we're about out of time. So why don't we kind of wrap things up? And
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I have a question too? Since I'm I'll be a caller for a second.
I guess we'll let you.
So yeah, David, I just picked up this new little League of Legends team, and they're one of the wild card teams for your event. How does that actually work? Like, is there supposed to be like a qualifier or something like that they have to do?
You should need to talk to Nick Allen again.
Come on, Mark. Jeez.
Yeah.
Nick Allen.
This is
Okay.
where, again,
I'll have to get the contact from you because I really have no idea about how this League of Legends stuff works. I'm such a noob now. So
he's a noob, yet he went and picked up a team. He's going to be spending a ton of money on.
Oh my God, Mark, that's awesome. I love your market research. You just jump in and do it.
The due diligence is amazing, isn't it?
Well, I need to put you in contact with Garrett Yeager on that, David.
Awesome.
Just kidding.
I'll do an email intro between the two of you guys, and then he's going to take care of you. Okay?
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, it's great having you guys on the show, both of you. I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
like 2 legends in esports here.
You guys have any shout-outs you want to do? Why don't we start with we'll start with you, MoleTrap.
Oh, shout out to my mom, my dad. No particular shout outs. I mean, I'm going to be kind of out of commission for a little bit as I'm going to be moving. The next 3 or 4 days, I'm going to be spending just packing and cleaning and stuff. So I'm not going to be doing anything for about a month, but then I'm going to be doing a lot more streaming and stuff, and I'm going to be doing, in the meantime, while I'm seeing what I can get going with esports, so I'm going to be doing some Let's Plays and that kind of thing, so you can check out my YouTube MoleTrap or my Twitter MoleTrap if you want to know more about that, what's going on with me, and I'll be doing more content in a few weeks once I get settled in the US. So,
yeah, those of you that need a caster, I mean, you've got an OGN and OSL caster here that are looking for some gigs. So,
or if you need some consulting on esports in general,
that too. Absolutely.
David,
David, you got any thanks or shout outs you want to do?
So, Chris, as usual, thank you.
Absolutely.
And then keep up the great work too. You guys, your program really has gained a lot of profile, and then you actually set a model for people who want to get into esport. Just go ahead and do it, right? So, and then also just quick shout out to my team. I know the team has been working extremely hard. So, really, hopefully, we don't screw things up at IPL 5, but we tried our best. So, hopefully, people tune in and give us the critique that we deserve. So, really looking for room for improvement for IPL 6 in the future as well. Okay, so thank you again for having me on the show.
All right, thank you, Dave.
Real quick, I did miss one shout out I should give in. Supernova Maniac, he's actually in the chat right now, and he's helped me out a lot. He he's basically the reason why I was able to do most of the interviews that I was able to do this summer. So mad thanks to him.
Oh, translator, right? He's the translator.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He translated for me, and he actually helped cast the Brugor finals too. So
Okay, great. Mark, got any shout-outs?
Of course, our unwavering support from our fans and friends and our staff, including our casters who are in David's challenge thing there, and we're looking